Thokozani, Thokozani, Thokozani Bagwantu, Thokozani, Hotep Royals, Gogonkanyezi here. How is everyone doing? Hope everybody is doing well in this season of Sekhmet. Um, I just had this notion to come and share some things, and it's really based on a few of the consultations that I've had in this last week. And I took time over the weekend to reflect about this. And I think it's really important that we talk about 6 spiritual gifts that only a very few people have. I don't want to put a number on it because I really don't know how many people have such a special gift. But these people with this special gift, and it's 6 gifts, 6, I've separated them out because I think that there are people who have all of them, and there are people who may have 1 or 2 of these special gifts. Why is it so important? I mean, we're saying special spirituality, a gift is a gift. There is no hierarchy in gifts. I want to emphasize that that is the case. There is no hierarchy in gifts. But based on the times that we are in, there are people with what I would call a higher calling. This is not to diminish those who only have like an ancestral bloodline calling or an ancestral bloodline calling that calls them to initiate into a certain practice. It doesn't also mean that people with these higher order gifts or this higher calling are precluded from the ancestral gifts. There are a lot of people who are under the misconception that if they have a calling to serve the universal order, or to serve or to be in service through the higher order spirits, such as, what we call our Kemetic gods and goddesses, they're under the misconception or misperception that if they have a bloodline ancestral gift that calls them to initiate, they believe that they can bypass that because let me tell you something, initiations are not easy. And so there are a lot of people who are under that impression that maybe if I just, really submit unto these higher order spirits or higher order deities or energies, then I can bypass the ancestral calling. I want to tell you all right now to please, please, please get that out of your mind. If you have a bloodline ancestral calling, it is something you're going to have to heed. If you have a tradition in which you need to initiate, you cannot run away from it. However, I'll tell you this. The way I have been shown it in terms of those who need to initiate an ancestral calling or bloodline gift is that when you ground them first in knowledge of self, so for example, locating themselves on the calendar, when you ground them in a deep knowledge of self, it makes a profound difference to the experience of initiating their ancestral gift. Why is this so? Initiating ancestral gift basically involves spirits being invoked through you and coming through you and speaking. And once the initiation process is over and you are taken home with a homecoming and the whole ceremony and everything, you sometimes are left now to figure out which spirit is saying what and when. Now, here's the problem. If you don't know your higher self, how are you going to know when your voice ends and the voice of said ancestral spirit takes over? Or when that voice ends and your voice takes over? By your voice, I mean your inner self, your higher self. How do you know that when you are speaking with a client and you are consulting, how do you know this is not just you kind of just plucking things out of the air, or whether it's actually your ancestral gift, those that want to work, abenguni, amandao, amakhosazana, amakhosi, whoever it is that you have initiated, you won't know. And this is why a lot of people who do go to initiation school end up home have a lot of self-doubt. They have a lot of self-doubt because they can't distinguish who is speaking at any particular time. That comes with a lot of experience, but I think their lives would be so much easier if they went in already with a deep knowledge of self, right? So, for example, if you're like me, you're Sekhmet, knowing and understanding how Sekhmet in me moves, how Sekhmet sounds, what causes Sekhmet to fly into a rage, what causes Sekhmet to want to, different aspects of the healer in Sekhmet, right? All these nuances of this principle that governs me, this principle that is me, because I was born in her season. That was the prevailing energy when I was born, meaning I embody Sekhmet. If you don't know yourself at that very essential self, if you don't know yourself properly astrologically, what happens now when you initiate other spirits? And it's not just one, it's never one when you have an ancestral calling. If we say umguni, he doesn't come alone. He usually brings other nsizwas. He usually brings helpers. If you are initiating, say, umdao, umdao doesn't move alone. Umdao will come, there's the main umdao, but then there are always amandachana, or there are other higher amandao. So how do you then know who's who? And that's not to say that you have to say, okay, I'm consulting someone, this must be so and so. It's not like that. But just knowing the nuances of the movement of these spirits in and out of you, but also remaining you, so that you don't sound or seem like or feel like you're losing your mind. Because sometimes if you're not properly aligned and you don't know who you are, it can become very confusing. And you start to think that maybe you're losing your mind. I hope this is making sense to someone out there. So, here are these really special gifts that very few people have. Number one is profound inner knowing, right? This is an inner understanding that comes from being true to yourself and listening to your higher self, which is in turn connected to the universe. In other words, you're one of these people who gets downloads from the universe, and you have a very clear understanding of how all these things come together. You have such a clarity, and a lot of these people you will find gravitate towards business leadership because of that clarity and being able to have a vision beyond maybe what even that company's vision is. They usually have a vision beyond their community, beyond their country, to encompass the globe, right? These are those kind of really, really special people, and they are rare. They also have compassion because of their understanding of how everything serves for the greater good. They have an understanding through their higher self that their spirit having a human experience and that we all are that. And so they have a great, great compassion for people who make mistakes, fall, and get up and start. They're very good at encouraging other people to stay on their path. They are very good. In fact, they are very good of taking even the weakest link in a group and molding this person or guiding this person to become the strongest link. These are very, very powerful people, usually extremely humble because remember, they are so connected to their higher self and therefore the universe. They also understand that in the grand scheme of things, they are so minute. So they are not led by ego. They are not led by a false sense of grandeur. They understand that the work that they are doing is so much bigger than themselves. Very, very rare people indeed, but that's number one. The second one is powerful empathy and compassion. Now, I know we all talk about, oh, I'm an empath, I'm a this. Now, these kind of people, no, you got to understand their empathy goes beyond feeling the feelings and emotions of individuals around them to literally feeling the emotions and and the turn of tides of the entire globe, of the entire universe. These are people who are so tapped into what I would call that internet of souls, where we all at some point meet, and these are people who suffer a lot. There are people who suffer a lot because, like I said, they're tapped into the collective frequency, and therefore they feel a collective pain. So for Bagwantu, these are the people you find in deep service of Bagwantu, a thankless task for the most part, because Bagwantu are so broken and wounded. But these people are able to see through the woundedness, to see that our responses, our reactions, our distractions, our addictions, our abuses, the way we are with one another, the way we are with our children, really comes from a deep wounding. So they carry within them a deep, deep compassion. This ability to feel for an entire nation, for an entire group of people, makes these people phenomenal leaders. In fact, this is one quality that you would want to have in a royal leader. I'll give an example. I want to bet I would give an example of somebody like Ibrahim Traore. When I watch him move, when I watch how he does things with his community. There was an article I read where at 3 a.m. he went to meet with and to listen to construction workers who were working on a road at 3 a.m. in the morning. You see him in the fields where people are plowing. You see him where people are on the side of the road selling tomatoes. That is a sign of such a humble leader who is deeply connected to the plight and the pain of Bagwantu, because he's always saying Africa. Yes, he's in Burkina Faso. Yes, he cares about his people, but his rallying cry is Africa. May all African leaders, may all other African countries become, may they all free themselves from the shackles of neocolonialism. May they all put their people first. That is a leader with a deep, deep compassion that surpasses any compassion that is normal and any empathy that is normal. This young man in his 30s has literally decided that if his life is to be taken, it will be taken as he is in deep service for Bagwantu. It doesn't get more special than that, right? And then number 3 is profound connectedness to all realms. Now, that is also a rare gift. This is a gift whereby somebody is able to experience and embody the past, not for themselves, for the entire collective, to see the future, but also be fully in the present, and to collapse the past and the future into the present. These people are extremely insightful. They are able, oh my gosh, they have what we call a super conscious, right? They have a super consciousness that, like guys, Bob Credo. Any of you who've read Indaba My Children or listened to Bob Credo's videos, this is one such a person. And his title was as a Sanusi. They are very rare beings. So these are people like literally, they get downloads from the universe. Terrence Howard is another one of those. Terrence Howard is getting knowledge right now about the past, about the future, and he's able to bring all that into the present. Terrence Howard talks about how he started dreaming some of the things he's talking about now when he was 6 years old. That is that super consciousness. That's that special gift. So people like Bob Credo, Terrence Howard, just for example, right? Their job is to enlighten people around them. Their job is to share knowledge at its deepest level. And sadly, these people are never appreciated during their time. We always give them their flowers to put them on their graves, which is so sad because these are precious beings in our midst, and we ought to be listening to these beings, particularly now, because there are a lot of messages that are coming through, which is why I wanted to do this video actually, to make you guys aware that amongst us, we have some super conscious beings who are bringing us messages for these prescient times. If we don't heed these messages, we are going to find ourselves in a lot of deep trouble. So listen to these souls with the ears of your soul, not with these ears. Listen with the ears of your soul and understand that at the deepest level, because their messages are really important right now. Right? They also have this enhanced perception of interconnectedness of all things. Galactic beings. They are usually the first to see and experience galactic beings from other realms. Because remember, they have access to these other realms in a way that the rest of us do not. So they are able to see galactic beings. They are the people who will tell you right now that the Anunnaki are back. They are the ones who will tell you that Jehuti, Thoth as he is called, is back for this time. They are very, very, very highly knowledgeable, and their knowledge, like I said, does not come from books. Their knowledge, usually they will say things, and you look in the books and you find that the colonizer got it all wrong. I'll give you an example, the periodic table. The periodic table has been constructed by Western scientists as a box, a rectangle. The truth of the matter is, it can never be a rectangle, right? Because everything is energy, and energy comes in waves. It's a wave-like motion that then sometimes makes a spiral. Who just said that? Terrence Howard. So your periodic table and all your biochemistry books and your science books, throw that out. Go and find Terrence Howard and really learn the science of our ancestors. They knew this. This is how they could create the pyramids. And everybody for so long was like, how on earth are the pyramids built? We know that they were built using sound frequency, that you could use frequency to lift huge, heavy blocks and move them and place them in a particular place. There weren't over 100,000 men trying to build those pyramids. If you have ever been close to one of those pyramids, I was close to one when we went to Mexico. Listen, there is a pyramid of Jehuti there, Thoth, who appeared in a different form. That thing, like you are this tiny, this thing is huge. The science behind it shows you that these were people who had the highest technology, which Western scientists till this day still cannot understand, right? So these are those beings. The other one, so now I think we are on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The transmutation of negative energy. Where my witch is at? These are the super alchemists. These are the people who will take a vial of poison and transform it into something that heals. These are the people who are able to look at something and speak to it and transform it into something healing. The transmutation of energy. These people are the people who you can throw a spirit at them, and when you next check, they're busy sitting and chilling with that spirit and they're having a good time. The spirit that was supposed to harm them has become their friend. These people are highly, highly powerful. And we have them in our communities. A lot of them will not come out like that, but they do exist. And in this time, they are much needed. Many of them are already listening to their call, which is that we are going to need those superpowers in this current spiritual battle that we're in, right? Of course. So, yes, they are these super alchemists that are out there. Look out for them. They don't brag. They don't, like I said, you probably won't find them on the socials. They are usually hidden deep, deep, deep in villages somewhere. doing some amazing things. And so we are calling on all of them, like we are literally calling on them spiritually to come through for us, because we need that magic. We need that magic big time, right? Then the other one is people who have vivid dreams and visions. Now, listen, my course. Whew, somebody wants to come through. But sorry about that. So, this is the sixth and the last one, right? People who have vivid dreams and vision. These kind of people, I'm not talking about your Gogo, I dreamt of a snake. Gogo, I dreamt I was under the water. No. I am talking people who are shown the future today. An example of that again is Bob Credo. These are those who get deeply prophetic dreams for community, for country, for the world. In 1997, Bob Credo was shown the whole of 9/11, the whole of it, from start to finish. And he recounted it. And at the time that, I think it made it into the papers, he was called crazy. The same way that right now, that establishment of colonizers is trying to call Terrence Howard crazy. Guys, Terrence is not crazy. Take it from somebody who has done the science, take it from somebody who has studied this in depth. He is not crazy. So, yes, maybe when he's talking, it might fly a little bit above your head. But listen, like I said, with the ears of your soul, and you will understand everything that he is saying. It will resonate. Why? Because we all have this deep knowledge in us. And so these people who are shown the future today are able to then come out with warnings for the community, for the collective of Bagwantu, and quite frankly, for the whole world. 9/11 was predicted as something that was going to happen, right? Could the superpowers or whoever have used that information to prevent it? Probably not, because remember, it was engineered by them. And I'm not going to go into that, but if you start digging, you will find that it was totally orchestrated. The same way that they will orchestrate something on this side so that you turn this way and you're distracted from what's going on over here, right? You must wake up to their moves. Anyway, that was predicted. That's what I wanted to say. So those are your 6 spiritual gifts, family, that you need to be on the lookout for. Listen to these people. They don't announce themselves by saying, hello, I'm a great Sanusi. By the way, anyone who goes around doing that kind of thing, you must understand. There are some young Sanusis around, and I get it that they are very young. And so they are always constantly being bullied. And so they feel like they have to defend who they are. And it's unfortunate that they have to do this. But other than those, and I know those ones, but other than those, be careful of anyone who comes to tell you they are Sanusi, Imboni. A lot of these people are just charlatans, because uimboni kanjani when you have not told us what is going to happen next year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. How are you a seer? Which is what a Sanusi at the very core is. If you're not able to show us what's coming, because big things, huge things are coming, and yet you will stand in a podium in front of thousands of people and call yourself Imboni or a Sanusi. We need to be very careful in these times we're in. Everybody wants to be a somebody. And it's in the wrong field, unfortunately, where they're choosing to be a somebody. Because why? When your third eye is open, when you are in consciousness and in touch with your higher self, when you have hidden knowledge, you understand the laws that govern the universe. What have I said? No one can turn you into slave any longer. Not people who look like us, not palm-colored creatures. No one can ever enslave you again. So I want you to raise that consciousness, open that third eye, be on the lookout for our sacred beings who are here to guide us through these times that we're in. I hope this was useful for someone. See you on my next upload, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, invite your friends. This is going up on the YouTube. I see that I have more subscribers here. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. But please do go and subscribe on YouTube if you want a recap of this. Subscription is free, guys, but I tell you that the revenue that it's giving is allowing us to do phenomenal things. We are right now only at 7K, 7.7, I think. Road to 10K. I've made a promise that if we get to 10K, in fact, not if, but when we get to 10K, I'm going to start a weekly or a bi weekly story time live right there on the YouTube and be able to interact with you and answer a lot of your spiritual questions. But I will be sharing a lot of my own spiritual journey, which really is about my life. So you get a sneak peek, if you like, into who or what makes Gogo or Umkhulu Nkanyezi. So I send you all love during this time. South Africa, you are in my heart, you are in my spirit as you prepare for tomorrow, which is already today on your end. Yeah, we will see where the chips fall, ne? But love and light to everybody. Masthokozeni.